In just 6 months, I have earned €3,600 in passive income without any work, purely through investing. That's more than most people earn in an entire month, and today I'll show you where the interest comes from, what my overall portfolio looks like, what I'm buying new, where I've invested, and whether I'm still on track to achieve financial freedom by 2030. And with that, welcome to Northern Finance. My name is Alex Bleck. June was a rather boring month on the stock market. If we're being completely honest, you have to call it like it is. As you can see here, I earned just 0.1% in June, so basically nothing. And the current annual return of just 1.5%, which is a huge difference from the 26.6% last year and 11.3% in 2023. Additionally, we can see that we've invested 63,800 in new funds, which means a bit more than 13,000 per month so far this year. And the absolute change this year is €70,000. That's a difference of 6,200, which represents the interest and capital gains we've achieved this year. And with a portfolio value of 407,000, that's very little, one has to say. If we look at the return chart, we see that the entire annual portfolio, shown here by the black line, has achieved 1.49%. And the only truly positive investment is my leveraged investment, my P2P loans with a 5.38% return. And we'll take a closer look at those in a moment. Bitcoin with 1.5% in this green shade has moved sideways this year without noticeable performance. Basically, there was no return. And my two global ETFs are slightly negative, with -2 and -4%. Please ignore the spike here in the developed world ETF. There was apparently a small data error on Yahoo, but it doesn't mean anything. The returns aren't really particularly impressive this year. That's something you can generally say. Over 2 years, though, the returns are still solid around 34% for the overall portfolio and 160% for Bitcoin. If we look at the past month, we can see that I invested another €10,000 here. Yes, as I always try to achieve, but that's not such an easy goal, not even for me. But just last month, I actually managed to do it, and I'll show you how in a minute. But first, let's take a look at the overall portfolio and see where and how much is actually invested. And here, I continue to follow the buy and hold approach. What I buy once, I don't sell quickly, but rather accumulate more and more every month and just let it run. My 407,000 portfolio looks like this. I have 45% invested in crypto, with 80% of that in Bitcoin, 20% in the strategy stock as a Bitcoin custodian and leverage, and 29% of the total portfolio is invested in my two global ETFs, which is just under 120,000. I've invested euros 77,000 in P2P loans, and this has actually brought in the most returns so far this year, as shown. And then I have my various startup investments, as well as a few individual stocks from the financial sector. The price gains so far this year have been minimal, to be honest, and thanks to Bitcoin, they're slightly positive. Bitcoin has delivered €3,000, 400 in performance this year, while Ethereum has a loss of euros, 266, and almost all of the global ETFs are actually negative. Pershing Square is at break-even, and the strategy stock is positive, but still slightly below my break-even point. I'm also just letting Wise run its course buy and hold, simply keep it. It's performed excellently so far, tripled, even quadrupled, and we'll see what else might come. It's a great stock. I also love using it for my business, and I'll just keep holding on to it. And with that, we now come to my new investments. First of all, as always, I topped up my global ETFs. I just keep putting money in consistently every single month without giving it much thought. On June 25, I bought 20 shares of the iShares Core MSCI World at 99.8 each, so for just under €2,000, and I bought the iShares Core MSCI Emerging Markets on the same day. Here I bought 60 shares at 33.69 U looking back. Not such a great price, but what can you do? Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And if we look at these purchases here, we can also see the low fees, 3.4 and 2.4 for these two purchases at Freedom24. Here, the free stock promotion was also extended again, and if you want to trade cheaply and globally, plus get free stocks, then click the link below in the video description. In addition, I bought Bitcoin specifically 0.033 units, meaning for €3,000. If we look at the yearly chart, we see I continue to buy regularly here. Every month or every 2 weeks, I try to do so, no matter where the price is, both during dips and now. Just before the all-time high, I keep buying So now I have already reinvested 7,000 euros out of the 10,000 euros. And now we come to my cash cow, which is P2P loans, because they are running like hotcakes. First, I invested 1,000 euros anew in Mintos, and as you can see, my account has reached a record value because of that. In addition, I paused my auto invest for a few days here, so I have 1,461 euros just sitting in the account. 1,000 euros are new, and the rest comes from my existing P2P loans, as I also wanted to shift some holdings specifically into bonds, which I now find really interesting on Mintos. It's also unique in P2P lending that for the same companies issuing loans, there are also bonds available here, which are better secured. Here we have the overview of the bonds, and now I'm going to click on the Esto bond. This is the bond from a very profitable lender here on Mintos, which is secured with senior priority. In the event of a bankruptcy, this is very important, and here we get a fixed 10.5% interest rate until mid-2028. Very attractive in my opinion, especially since interest rates in Europe are very likely to continue falling, and this way I can lock in higher interest rates for the long term with better security. It's also attractive to me because of Esto's strong profitability. Here are initial figures for home 2024 with 2.9 million euros profit and a balance sheet total of 75 million euros. If you haven't invested on Mintos for a while, this could be an attractive offer which is still ongoing here to get started again. Now I'm investing all my available capital here, confirming it, and I see it right away in the portfolio overview. If we take a closer look, we can also see that the money will actually only be executed here starting from July 1st. Super easy in my opinion, and better secured than many regular P2P loans, which is still very attractive since the interest rates here are, in my view, still quite juicy and locked in for the long term. If you want to invest with Mintos, click the link below in the video description to get an extra bonus that you won't get with a regular sign up. Secondly, I have invested another 1,000 euros in Ventus Energy, specifically in this wood pellet heating plant in Smiltene, which I recently visited in person. As usual, there is plenty of information about this project on the website, including details on finances, technical specifications, a comprehensive PDF, and everything else such as the plans for the power plant, basically anything you might want to have to make it even more profitable after the purchase. I'm investing here now with 17% interest and about 5% cashback on top, which I think is really impressive. Now I'm already invested here as well and received my cashback directly within the project. Starting from December onwards of this year, I can either exit or continue to support it long term, and for now, that's what I'm doing. I have now invested 11,362 euros here and have already earned 1,362 euros in interest since last September, which is a really impressive return. The link and info for visiting in person can be found below in the video description. In addition, I've invested another 1,000 euros in a third P2P lending platform, but I'll only reveal which one in 2 weeks. If you appreciate this real-time transparency and want to see more, please leave me a like and subscribe as a big show of support. That really helps us out, and feel free to share the video with your friends as well. With that, let's move on to an overview of my passive income from P2P loans. In June 2025, I earned a total of 570 euros and was therefore able to post a total of 3,607 euros in passive income here this half year. That's really a nice substantial amount where it's starting to get genuinely fun, and at least for me personally, it covers at least a month's worth of expenses. The passive income is becoming more and more realistic, so to speak, so that you can actually use it and not just see it sitting in your account. With Bondora Go Grow, however, the reduced interest rates are still noticeable for me. Here I earned 15 euros and unfortunately only 74 euros with Debituma somewhat weaker month, but the interest rates here are still a pleasant 12.5%, and I'm currently being offered new loans at 13 and 13.5%, which I'm also buying. I continue to invest in the Latvian Forest Development Fund and I'm very satisfied with it. I'm also linking to Debitum with a bonus, as well as my on-site Visicluding in the Forstand the review. As always, these are linked below in the video description. After that, there are a few smaller positions we won't go into detail about now. I'm continuing to let the loans on Income Marketplace run out, and I'm almost done with that. Then on LANDE, I earned just under 32 euros in passive income last month, but there are significantly more loan defaults here than usual, which I obviously don't like and will continue to monitor closely. For now, I'm not depositing any new money here since recoveries also take a while, so I'll wait a bit longer. Maclear delivered 19 euros, very good. Mintos 18 euros, and Monefit a strong 86 euros. As you can see here, my daily interest has increased from 1.56 euros to 1.62 euros, thanks to last month's interest interest rate hike, and it's running perfectly and reliably without any F adjust the way you basically want it to be. It's a good investment that I really like, and that's why I've now invested around 12,600 euros. My test and on-site visit from a few weeks ago are linked below in the video description, and now they're 7.5% off everything pretty cool. Unfortunately, Swapper only brought in 48 euros in interest since the cash drag was higher than usual last month. Unfortunately, only 5,000 of 5,700 euros are invested here. Trino continues to run, and Ventus Energy breaks the interest record thanks to the cashback and is also performing great. Viainvest is running reliably and quietly exactly as it should. So overall, P2P loans are performing exceptionally well this year, really very, very well, I have to say. As mentioned, all test reports, on-site visits, and bonus links can be found below in the video description. And as you can see here in the monthly overview, despite some individual fluctuations, the interest rates across my entire 77,000 euro P2P loan portfolio are still fairly reliable, usually ranging between 550 and 600 euros for me, although of course there are also spikes both up and down. And earning these 550 to 600 euros per month is quite a lot. And for me personally, it already covers my monthly groceries at the local Lidl, coffee to go, restaurant visits, and maybe one or two other things, which is really cool. And I just enjoy visualizing it like this. It also motivates me to invest more into it every month. In the quarterly view since 2022, we can also see the growth very clearly. And in the yearly view, we can see that soon even the cash flow from the entire year 2024 will be surpassed here. This becomes even more apparent here in the accumulated monthly view. Overall, I am satisfied with the development, and the cash flow from P2P is strong. Even if the stock markets, as is currently the case, are moving sideways or slightly negative, you should see this as an opportunity to buy in at a lower price, since we can't change that anyway. All we can do is try to save as much as possible, and I hope this video has given you some motivation to keep your savings rate high and, if possible, to maximize it. That's it for this video, and with that, I wish you good returns. Let me know your thoughts on my new investments in the comments below, and see you next time.